Nice to have you back on the show. Yes, we have had a call from the Women's Weekly, and I'm going around there afterwards. But they were talking about having my legs up in stirrups. What does that mean? Oh, okay.
It's probably for a cover shot, be your best side, I'd say.
Yeah. Okay, well, that'll be interesting to see what happens there. Anyway, for $100,000, they can have me anyway.
$100 or $10?
No. I wouldn't walk across the street for that. Dear stand-up beauties, why do women keep popping out children when there are far too many people in the world already? We now have enough education to know that overpopulation is destroying the environment. I'm 30 years old and foster two children whom I love as my own, and it really peeves me when I hear this female biological clock crap. If a woman needs to nurture a child, there are plenty around who need it. Joe on the email, Rebecca.
Oh dear Joe, you're obviously very tired after looking after your children, and you've forgotten that we live in a democracy which involves choices, everyone being able to make their own choices. Now, I'm glad that you're fostering the kids that you are. Good on you. Giving love is a wonderful thing. If we would loosen up some of our adoption laws and make it easier for a wider range of people to adopt children, then things might be very different. The bottom line is, though, that we live in a society where you make a choice. You decide, I want to have a child, and if you're capable of doing it, you can do that. We almost have a zero population growth in this country anyway. What I think you should focus on is us loosening up the adoption rules so that more people, greater groups can adopt. Okay. In Norway, they've just allowed homosexual couples to adopt.
Tara, do you have children?
No.
Are you going to have children?
I would like to one day, yeah. I hope I'll be that lucky.
We'll see me after the show, okay?
God.
Well, yes, yeah, well. Hey, Tara, you and I, $500,000 on. No, actually, we'll go for $1 million on this.
Oh, God. That's after you've given birth to yours, okay. No, I agree with Rebecca. It's about the adoption laws. I mean, obviously, Joe sounds extremely angry, and I'm not really sure why. Because you're right, we don't have a problem with overpopulation in Australia, just like where my homeland, Canada, actually this is my home now, but they don't have a population problem there either. So there are issues in other places, and I don't think it's really fair to just say to people it's a silly thing to want to have kids. It's very natural.
Okay, Prue.
I think that the point you're making is that there are thousands of children who are sitting there who would love to be loved, to be taken into a family environment. And why are women, and I must admit there are some women I know who have hit the early 40s and they really feel as the final sort of fulfillment wank that they have to have a child. They're not really taking into consideration.
What do you mean, the fulfillment wank?
Because
I mean, you're saying that because you don't have any kids and you don't want to have any kids.
Because I don't feel I need to be fulfilled by having a child. There are some women who do.
You're saying a fulfillment wank.
Because I believe it is a wank, because they're not really thinking about the child. They're not thinking about whether they would be into the right family environment, that it is an accessory to them. And to tell you frankly, once they've had the child, they're so tired, so they get someone else to raise it. You know, they really farm it off to nannies and all of that. No, it isn't, Rebecca. Because there are a lot of people who do that.
I know several post-40 mothers who have had children at 40, 42, 44. They are exceptional mothers. Anybody who chooses to have a child can make the choice in
We're not talking about everyone over 40, but I'm saying there are a lot of them that are
exceptional. You're saying
the majority. And you're looking at these little kids who are dying for some sort of just an extension of love. Well, then I agree with you, Joe. I think that people should be fostering more and not having the children of their own.
Eva.
There's not enough nice, white, whole babies for people who want that, unfortunately. And I mean, most of the people who want babies unfortunately, they want their own, or they want one that looks like them and all of those things. There's a lot of kids around that do need it, but not of the sort which people want. So, I mean, if you like, there's a market mismatch. It's a hideous term. But it actually...
So how do we solve that problem? Do we clone kids now? Is that the way we want to do it?
It becomes a real issue about whether or not... I mean, women are not having as many babies as they used to. We're below...
But why is that?
Because it's too bloody hard. Yeah. It's too bloody hard to try and deal with the fact that you try and have babies in an environment where there's very little childcare, or it costs too much, where you know you're not allowed to work part-time because you're regarded as only being a sort of a thing. It is still a difficult situation.
I have a friend of ours actually, she's in her early 50s now, and she's said all the way through her 30s and 40s she didn't want to have any children. Well, when she got to her 50s, and my wife said to her, do you have any regrets? And she said, I only have one regret, and that was I didn't
Well,
have
that's
a
her
child.
stand.
Okay, but so many people
She
they
should
do
get on
say.
with life and not be a bloody
See, but that's been too hard.
emotional wanker.
But that's been too hard, though.
No, it's not.
She's
I
finally
think
got
that
to the
is
age
so
of 50.
pathetic.
She's finally got to the age of 50 and said the only one regret that she didn't have any children.
Look,
Buy
I
a
had
dog.
Yes, I mean, I've had
Yeah.
a child.
Well, I mean, your boyfriend's already got a dog and it's called Prue.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all we have time for on this particular segment. Well, I'm sorry, but we've run out of time.
Adopted, and I wanted to just talk in favour of being adopted.
Well, listen, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to have a break and then we're going to come back and talk about Fiona and her adoption. We'll be back very shortly.